These budgeting secrets are game changers for newbies and can save you hundreds every month. Managing your finances can seem daunting, especially if you're just starting out. Budgeting is a crucial step towards achieving financial stability, and it's essential to understand its importance. Creating a budget helps you track your income and expenses, making it easier to identify areas where you can cut back and save. Budgeting is not just about cutting back on expenses, it's also about making conscious financial decisions that align with your goals. By having a clear picture of your financial situation, you can make informed decisions about how to allocate your resources. This, in turn, helps you prioritize your spending and make progress towards your financial objectives. Whether you're looking to pay off debt, build up your savings, or simply get a better handle on your finances, budgeting is the key. Many people feel overwhelmed by the idea of budgeting, but it's actually quite straightforward. The concept of budgeting is simple. It's a plan for how you want to use your money. You make a list of all your income and expenses, and then you categorize those expenses into different groups, such as housing, food, and entertainment. By doing this, you can see where your money is going and make adjustments as needed. This process helps you stay on top of your finances and ensures that you're making the most of your money. As you start to explore the world of budgeting, you'll realize that it's not just about numbers and spreadsheets. Budgeting is about creating a relationship with your money, understanding your spending habits, and making intentional decisions about how you want to use your resources. It's a process that takes time and practice, but the benefits are well worth the effort. By committing to a budget and sticking to it, you can achieve financial stability, reduce stress, and build a brighter financial future. When it comes to budgeting, you don't need a lot of fancy tools or equipment. A pen and paper or a budgeting app are all you need to get started. The most important thing is that you're willing to track your expenses and make adjustments as needed. You can use a simple spreadsheet or a budgeting app like Mint, or you need a budget to help you stay on track. The key is to find a system that works for you and to stick with it. Having the right tools is essential, but it's also important to have the right mindset. Budgeting is not about depriving yourself of things you enjoy, it's about making conscious decisions about how you want to use your money. It's about prioritizing your spending and making sure that your money is aligned with your values and goals. By adopting this mindset, you can create a budget that works for you, rather than against you. You'll also need to be willing to track your expenses, which can be a bit of a challenge. This involves writing down every single transaction, no matter how small, and categorizing it into a specific group. This can be time-consuming, but it's essential for creating an accurate picture of your financial situation. By tracking your expenses, you can identify areas where you can cut back and make adjustments to your budget as needed. As you start to track your expenses, you'll begin to notice patterns and trends in your spending. You might be surprised at how much you're spending on certain categories, such as dining out or entertainment. This information can be incredibly valuable, as it allows you to make adjustments to your budget and allocate your resources more effectively. By being aware of your spending habits, you can make intentional decisions about how you want to use your money. Creating a budget is a step-by-step process that involves several key components. The first step is to assess your income, which includes all the money you earn from your job, investments, and any other sources. This will give you a clear picture of how much money you have available to spend each month. You'll also need to identify your fixed expenses, such as rent or mortgage, utilities, and groceries, which are essential for living. Next, you'll need to track your expenses, which involves writing down every single transaction and categorizing it into a specific group. This will help you identify areas where you can cut back and make adjustments to your budget as needed. You'll also need to set financial goals, such as paying off debt, building up your savings, or investing in a retirement account. By having clear goals in mind, you can create a budget that's tailored to your needs and priorities. Once you have a clear picture of your income and expenses, you can start to categorize your spending into different groups. This typically includes housing, transportation, food, entertainment, and debt repayment. By categorizing your expenses, you can see where your money is going and make adjustments as needed. You might find that you're spending too much on dining out, for example, and decide to cut back on that category. As you categorize your expenses, you'll also need to set limits for each category. This involves determining how much you're willing to spend on each category and sticking to it. This can be a bit challenging, but it's essential for creating a budget that works. By setting limits, you can ensure that you're not overspending in certain areas and that you're making progress towards your financial goals. You'll also need to consider any irregular expenses, such as car maintenance or property taxes, which can be difficult to predict. These expenses can be challenging to budget for, but there are ways to handle them. One approach is to set aside a portion of your income each month in a separate savings account, specifically for irregular expenses. This way, you'll have a cushion in case unexpected expenses arise. Another important step in creating a budget is to review and revise it regularly. This involves tracking your expenses and comparing them to your budget to see if you're on track. If you find that you're overspending in certain areas, you can make adjustments to your budget as needed. This might involve cutting back on certain categories or finding ways to reduce your expenses. It's also important to prioritize your spending, which involves making intentional decisions about how you want to use your money. This might involve cutting back on discretionary spending, such as dining out or entertainment, and allocating that money towards more important goals, such as paying off debt or building up your savings. By prioritizing your spending, you can ensure that you're making progress towards your financial goals. As you create your budget, you'll also need to consider any financial obligations you may have, such as credit card debt or student loans. These obligations can be challenging to manage, but there are ways to handle them. One approach is to prioritize your debt repayment, focusing on the debts with the highest interest rates first. By doing this, you can save money on interest and pay off your debts more quickly. You'll also need to think about your long-term financial goals, such as saving for retirement or buying a house. These goals can be daunting, but they're essential for achieving financial stability. By creating a budget that takes into account your long-term goals, you can ensure that you're making progress towards them. This might involve setting aside a portion of your income each month in a retirement account or savings account. By following these steps, you can create a budget that works for you and helps you achieve your financial goals. Remember, budgeting is a process that takes time and practice, but the benefits are well worth the effort. With a clear plan in place, you can reduce financial stress, build wealth, and achieve financial stability. To help illustrate the budgeting process, let's consider a simple example. Suppose you earn $4,000 per month and have fixed expenses of $1,500 for rent, utilities, and groceries. You also have debt repayment obligations of $500 per month and want to save $1,000 per month for long-term goals. Using a budgeting app or spreadsheet, you can categorize your expenses and set limits for each category. You might find that you need to cut back on discretionary spending, such as dining out or entertainment, in order to meet your financial goals. Using a budget template or app can make it easier to visualize your budget and make adjustments as needed. For example, you can use a template to track your income and expenses, categorize your spending, and set financial goals. Many budgeting apps also offer features such as automatic expense tracking, bill reminders, and investment tracking. By using these tools, you can streamline your budgeting process and make it easier to stay on track. Let's say you've created a budget and are tracking your expenses. You notice that you're spending too much on dining out and decide to cut back on that category. You can use a budgeting app to set a limit for dining out and track your spending in that category. If you go over the limit, the app will alert you and help you stay on track. This can be a powerful tool for managing your finances and achieving your financial goals. As you start to use a budgeting template or app, you'll find that it becomes easier to manage your finances and make progress towards your goals. You'll be able to see where your money is going and make adjustments as needed. You'll also be able to set reminders and alerts to help you stay on track. By using these tools, you can take control of your finances and achieve financial stability. To stay on track with your budget, it's essential to set reminders and review your spending regularly. This can help you identify areas where you're overspending and make adjustments as needed. You can set reminders on your phone or calendar to review your budget regularly, and you can also use budgeting apps to track your spending and stay on track.